these drawings go together, even though they were done at different times. I once read an interview with the great Giuseppe Di Stefano, who said, well, it took him maybe 50 outings in a role to get it right. And I laughed, even as a journeyman compared to him, I laughed at the ludicrousness of that statement. And yet, when it was my turn to embrace the difficult, the taxing Italian lyric roles, I found the same thing. My first outings, my first 35 outings, to be honest, in front of a public, do they get their money back? No. They're not good enough. It's very, very difficult. It's not like singing Mozart or the Baroque stuff, which is just as difficult and such as beautiful and such as requiring the same silken legatos and attention to text and detail, but just physically, viscerally, to get through these Italian roles, and for me, at the edge of my abilities, took time. You can't make any mistakes or you won't get to the end of the opera. And fashions have changed. The pitch is higher. Strings are made often more steel nowadays. Brass is louder. Conductors are, I'm afraid, poorly trained and don't respect what the score says very, very often. And pits, for example, in Vienna, they now play half up because they refuse to play in the pit, saying that they can play piano if they want to, which is true. They can if they want to. So this one was drawn after my first outings as Rigoletto, and this is the old puppet, which the Punch character, which the Rigoletto carries around all evening from the 70s, this production. I made the nose up, of course, and I wasn't good enough. It's the most gorgeous and challenging and wonderful role, but it's terribly intimidating, and it carries this huge, fabulous weight of tradition, and the voices from the middle of the 20th century are all very familiar with, and we listen to them at top volume on our CDs, which doesn't help any modern singer. Actually, if you look at the score, what's written is so much gentler than is often performed. Wagner and Verdi, I believe, are very poorly served and only really available to the giant voices these days. It's a shame. Shouldn't be. This, Macbeth, same thing. I failed in my first attempts, and this poor Simon here with his eyes wide open like a rabbit in the headlights. Gorgeous roles, both, and both take such a lot of corralling, but a risk worth taking, despite the early failures.